Hello everybody, so I am Kim from Darn It Workshops. I do all sorts of different workshops. I'm mainly based in West Yorkshire in Huddersfield, but I also do things down south as well, all over the country, further north than this. I also run Thread Republic, which is a textile scrap store in Huddersfield. Please do come visit us. We're open until March. But what you're here for today is some beautiful reindeer. So today we're going to make some of these. So this is macrame, and I absolutely love macrame. It's fantastic to do. And today we are going to work with some cotton cord. This is from a company called Bobbiny. There's a similar company as well called Billy Bag, which is kind of a UK version. This is made in Poland, whereas Billy Bag is all manufactured in the UK. So do look them up. This is a 1.5mm macrame cord, and that is what this one has been done in. Whereas this one is done in a 3mm braided cord, which is very similar, but I found it a little bit faffier to finish it off, and it's just a bit of a chunkier look to it. So you could use either. If you've got anything at home that's slightly bigger than that, just use a bigger ring. So this ring, I'm just going to double check the size of it. This is an about 1 3/4 inch size ring, whereas this is a 2-inch ring, I believe. So that's the size I'm going to go for today. And then you'll need a little red bead as well. Also, do please say hello in the comments as well if you're watching. I'm just getting it up on my Facebook as well so that I can kind of have a listen and check out if anyone's saying anything below. Please do tell me where you're from, and I hope the weather where you are is much better than where it is up here. I've got beautiful views of Yorkshire, but it does mean we get the rain up here as well. Right, back to some reindeer. So we are going to start with 6 lengths of 50 centimeters of this cord. So this one's lovely. It's got a bit of a sparkle running through it. Doesn't need to have a sparkle. And I was going to measure this before, but then I thought sometimes it's good for people to see how I measure, because I've seen every single way that someone can measure things in a workshop, and sometimes it's a little bit silly. So you just bring it like that, hold on to one side, pull it through to the other so it's taut. This one has no stretch in it, so you don't have to worry about keeping it slack, whereas this one does have a little bit of stretch. So then I'm going to chop this one off, and then I'm going to use this one to measure the others so I don't have to measure every single bit. And we're going to go for 6 of these. So you just run it through your fingers like that, cut it off, and then measure the next. I can't actually see on the page yet, so I am trying to keep an eye out for comments. Keep doing that until you get a whole 6 of them. And I'm hoping that a few people have tuned in today from my, I was just doing another session for a local charity that I work for to me, and we were doing a bit of polystyrene bauble quilted bauble decorations and pom-pom fabric decorations. So I might grab some of those to show you in a moment once we get this started. So we've got our 6 lengths of that now, and then the other one is 160 centimeters of white. So for this, it's got little flecks in it. Really, really sad that Bobbiny don't make this color anymore. It's a really, really nice one. So this one only goes up to 1.5 meters, I believe. So what I'm going to do when I get to the end is turn back and measure another 10. And you only need 1 of those. So it's 50 centimeters of the brown cord, 160 of the white. And I'll put those away so they are out of your way. So I've broken my tape measure. I'll put that away. And then what we're going to do with these is each one we'll fold it. I'm going to put that in between the reindeer there. So each one we're going to fold it in half like that, pull it through so you've got the middle point there, so the ends are pretty much matched. And then we're going to put it on here and put the tails through that loop there. And this is called a lark's head knot, and we're going to do a lot of these later. So same thing again, we're going to do that with all of them. And if you put it towards the back, because there's a right and a wrong side to a lark's head, there's this side and the kind of flatter side. So the way that you get it the right way round is you always put this to the back like that and then pull it through. So this is going to make the two antlers. I'm just going to there we go. And if you've done any macrame before, all of these knots will be very familiar to you. So now that we've got all of these on, we're going to separate them into two groups of 3, like this. So we can keep those ones out of the way. And if you have a macrame board, this can be really, really helpful to like just hold it down. I don't have one on me at the moment, but you can pin it to a cushion or anything like that. So I'm just going to hold on to it. And we're going to put, normally you would have 2 cords in the middle, 1 either side, but we're going to do it for this one where we have these 4 strands in the center. I'm just going to bring my light a little bit closer. There we go. That might make that a little bit easier to see. 4 strands in the center and 1 either side. And I'll move these all the way over here so they're not getting us confused. And we're going to do 3 square knots. So what is a square knot? A square knot is where you do 2 knots to make 1 knot. And the way that you start it is you go over the middle like this, and then this one goes on top. So this one's done for this section. It can stay over there. And then this one is going to do what this one does, but in reverse. So because this one is on top, this one is going to go underneath like that. And then this one is going to go through this loop from behind. And another thing that you can do is if you're doing this without a board, you can always put something to hold those down or put a piece of tape over them to hold them taut if you find it irritating. But I'm just going to pull it up like that. So that's 1/2 of a square knot. The second half we're going to do is a loop over from the other side like this. So you do the same thing but in reverse. So you've done a P shape, now we're going to do a Q shape. So we're minding our P's and Q's. Then this one goes over the top. This one's going to go under through this loop like that. And a really helpful thing with square knots is one side will always have a little loop on it like that. And when you're doing a row of square knots, that will indicate which side you're doing next. And there's sort of a little arrow here, and that arrow points to the direction you're doing next. So now we'll do the same thing. So we're going to do 3 square knots. So we're going to go over 2, under 1, under 2, and through the loop. And we're going to pull that tight. And then that one has the little loop here and the little arrow pointing this way. So we're going to go this way. So that is 2 square knots. So now we're going to do our 3rd square knot. And I'm going to repeat this all on the other side. Then the next bit we're going to do, still keeping those out the way, we're going to separate this into 2 groups of 3. So we're now going to have 1 in the middle, which is quite unusual for macrame, and we're going to do 2 square knots. And this is going to make 1/2 of a cute little antler. And this is when I wish I'd bought a board with me. So So you kind of have to use both of your hands when you're doing these. Makes it run a lot smoother. So if you're watching this and you've done macrame before, I would love to know what you've made. Normally people tend to say a plant holder and an owl. I've never actually made an owl before, but I love a plant holder. I've got them all over my house. So there we have one little side of an antler there. And then we're going to flip over to this side and do the exact same thing. But before I do that, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on here. Just all around this, and this is just fabric glue, but you could use tacky glue, you could use like Yoo-hoo. So I'm just going to work that in with my thumb like that. And then tighten it up again. And then we'll do the exact same thing over here. I'm going to put this on here to try and stop it wiggling. Oh, that's a lot better. So just 2 square knots for the antler tops. And then we'll repeat the whole process on the other side, and then we'll get its little face in. There we go. Another half of an antler done. We'll get some glue on that. In fact, I should probably put a little bit on the back as well for ease. Oh gosh, the rain is absolutely lashing at my window at the moment. I don't think everything I'm doing today is online, so I don't think I'll be going outdoors at all today. So then exactly the same on this side. And in fact, if I bring my laptop closer, I can put that on there to hold it down. I'm just thinking about you watchers at home and the annoying scraping sound that was happening before. Right, so we are going to have 4 in the middle. Get rid of that side. And we're going to go over 4, under 1. This one goes under 4 and through this loop. Pull it up to the top. And then same on the other side, over 4, under 1, under 4 and through the loop. What I'll do is I'll do this bit speedily, because if you want to watch it slow down, you can always wind it back to that beginning section. So that is 2 square knots, 2.5 square knots, and 3. And then we'll separate it out into 2 groups of 3. And do 2 square knots to form the tops of those antlers. Ooh. This is the perfect thing to do, like as either a decoration, or you can put it on top of presents as well. I do that quite a lot, where I'll do little bits of macrame. I quite like making little macrame trees. I did a session on that recently that you could go back and watch. And one year I made loads of those trees and put them on everyone's presents. So everyone still has these little trees everywhere. And then one year I did origami stars as well. And they're the kind of thing that once you know how to do it, you can do it quite fast. Like this. Then a little bit of glue. On both sides. Give it a little massage. And then the next bit, so we're going to put those together, and then we're going to get our longer piece. So this is 1 meter 60 centimeters, which might be a bit much, but we'll see how we go. We're folding it in half, and I'm going to get the bead and put it on here. And the problem with these is that they do shed a little bit. If you're using the braided cord, it doesn't separate, but this sure does. So we're going to move this into the middle like this. And we're going to put this on with a lark's head knot like we did before. So that's the folded bit with the bead that's going to go on like that. And then we'll tighten that around it. So the nose goes there. And then we're going to do sort of a fake lark's head knot, because normally you do a lark's head knot with a folded bit. So instead now we're going to go in front like this, and then through the ring and through that loop. And then to complete one, we'll go behind, through the loop, through there. And just to stop this bead from wobbling, we're going to do one this side as well. Then we'll keep going on the other side. So you go in front, through, and through that loop. I'll move that out of the way now. We don't need to keep seeing that. Behind, through, and through the loop. And then we can sort of push them together, or you can space them out if you want to see some of the ring below. And you just keep doing that. So one on top, one behind, one on top, and one behind. And you just keep doing it until you get to the top here. And you make sure that this ring is central and underneath there. So it makes these really cute little knots going around here. And it's really quick to grow as well. If you do it on a bigger ring, obviously it would be a little bit slower, and you'd use maybe a little bit more cord, although I've got a lot of excess left at the end here. I reckon we can fit one more in there. Like that. And then same at this other side. So we go in front, under, and through. You can always crunch them up a little bit more. It's always good to count how many you're doing on each side as well, just to make sure that it's even. Although also I don't always bother, because it doesn't really matter, does it? Unless that is the kind of thing that matters to you. So then we have a little look at it, check that everything's looking good. And then we'll put a little bit more glue here and here. So a little bit's going to go here on top of this last knot, behind this last knot as well. So it's all nice and secure, because this stuff can fray quite a lot. It's a really generous amount of glue, but not so much that it's going to look shiny. Now I won't trim this down yet because this won't be dry yet, but these might be. So then all you do, trim those bits down, and then the antlers emerge. Just make sure there's no little tufty bits. Then we'll leave those bits to dry, but I feel like you get the idea. And then you could put in behind these sections, if you get a big needle, you could put in a piece of string to hang it from if you like. And you can do different variations as well. Like this one, I've done less knots there, but more knots there, so it's got bigger antlers. Whereas this one's, I'd say this is more like a kind of baby deer. So lots of different options. This one's on a slightly bigger ring than this one as well. Or you could go for a much chunkier one. Obviously, I've lost a little bit of it there. But yeah, we have got a whole family of little deer there. If you're doing this at home, I would absolutely love to see photos of them. You can send them to me at Darn It Workshops on all of the things. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, everything like that, on TikTok as well. And yeah, any questions as well, drop me a message. I hope you've enjoyed this session and take care of yourself. Have a lovely Christmas. Bye, everyone.